Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michon, and on this channel I create high-end farmhouse inspired home decor using majority of Dollar Tree products or other affordable items. But if you're not new, hey doll, hey. So in today's video, I'm sharing with you a brand new wreath style that I have started to actually fall in love with. If you've been around for a while, you know that I absolutely love creating wreaths. Floral wreaths are my jam, but I wanted to branch out just a little bit in 2023 and try some newness, expand my creativity just a bit. So I tried a brand new different type of technique in this wreath. I'm not really sure what the technique is, bubble, curl, whatever, I don't know, but I use a lot of fabric. It's only a fabric wreath. And it's so far out of my wheelhouse. I've always been so against trying to make them because I thought they were too intricate and they took too much time and it just had too many steps in it. Although it does have a lot of steps, it is not difficult whatsoever. Now, if I can do it, I know that you can do it. And if I can teach you how to do it, then I know you can do it too, boo. Now, be nice, y'all. Please be nice. It's my first time doing it. So go easy on your girl. Just, you know, I can take constructive criticism, but you know, meanness, I'm not here for that. But anyways, I really hope you guys do enjoy this video and have just as fun watching me create this as I did create it myself. So if you're new and love what you see but love all things home decor DIYing on a budget, I would also appreciate if you consider subscribing and hitting the bell right next to it so you're notified every time that I upload. All right, dolls, let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so starting off, I am going to use this heart wreath form from the Dollar Tree, as well as some white chenille stems that I got from the Dollar Tree. And then I have this flower sack also from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to be using. So the first thing I did is take my chenille stems and I do 2 per each section of this heart. So as you can see, the heart is kind of sectioned off into, I think this is 5 different sections, 5 or 6 different sections. And so I'd use 2 chenille stems to go on the outer and the inner wire part of the heart. For the middle part of the heart, I just did 1 chenille stem as well as the bottom. And I just twist these around as tightly as I can. You can turn it over once you're done with this part and secure it with some hot glue. I attempted to do that, but it just didn't work out in my favor. This is my first time doing this type of wreath, so it was a little bit of trial and error for me trying to figure out what worked and what didn't. Shout out to my DIY friends that do these type of wreaths all the time. It's specifically Lori Blythe. I mean, she is amazing at these type of wreaths. But anyways, once I was done with the outer portion of my wreath, then I went on the inside and then just used 1 chenille stem in between each of the outer chenille stems. So as you can see here, it's just 1 in between each one for the inner wire and then the middle wire. I really hope I'm explaining that correctly, but as you can see here, that is what I'm doing. And I just do the same thing. I just get it as tight as I can to make sure that they are nice and secure. Next, I'm going to take that flower sack, and I really love this color. It gives this nice, it's white and cream. I don't know. It's like a mix in between the two. But anyways, I just fold that kind of like hamburger style or hot dog style and then cut it down hamburger style. I guess that's what you would say. So I just cut it off and just half it basically. And then I take both of the corners, I put those together and take half of a chenille stem and tie that together. And then I place that piece underneath the first wire part at the bottom of the wreath form. Then I'm going to take my Cricut ruler and I am going to measure out 6 inches. And that is where I am going to attach my chenille stems. So I'm going to bunch it up to where it's kind of bumpy or loopy at the top, and then just keep measuring all the way around 6 inches. That's where I'll place my finger, and that's where I will tie off the chenille stem. And I wrapped it around the chenille with the chenille stem about like 4 or 5 times. Again, like I said, hot glue didn't work for me to keep my chenille stems in place, so that's why I'm trying to tightly tighten the fabric in my chenille stems. So once I get to the end, it's actually pretty perfect to where it ends off right at the end of the fabric. And then the rest of the excess fabric, I just tuck it underneath. Then I take the second piece of my flour sack and I do the exact same thing where I just tie it off at the corners with a half a piece of chenille stem to give it a little triangle looking piece. It probably is not a triangle looking piece, but I just kind of wanted it to be bunched up so that way when I do fluff it all out, it looks the way that it's supposed to look. And then on the back side, it looks pretty funky and crazy, but I just use as much of the chenille stem extra that I have to be able to tie it down and hold it down into place. And so as you can see here, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to keep everything down and in place and out of the way. And then once I do that, then I just continue with the process and measuring out 6 inches of the fabric to attach the next onto the next chenille stem. And I just keep going all the way around until I am completely finished. And you guys, one of these flour sack pieces of fabric from the Dollar Tree covers this entire outer portion of this heart wreath. And I was super excited about that I did not have to get another piece of fabric out and cut it down and figure out how to get it into place. It worked out pretty perfectly and I'm super happy about that. And like I said, to keep everything in place, I just kept using small pieces of chenille stems to attach on the back side. So that way my fabric stayed into place. Then I just fluff out my fabric just a little bit, just so I can make sure that I have a nice look and everything is pretty much even all the way around. And my eyes are happy with the way that it is beginning to turn out. Once I fluffed everything out, I just started to remove my chenille stems that were sticking out, and I just moved them to the back. So I just pretty much just tucked them under the outside of the floral wire, the wreath wire, and just tuck them underneath so that they were not seen and out of the way. I am going to fix it later on in the back where everything is going to be laying down or attached to each other, so that way it has a pretty back side. Once I am done with that, now it is time to do the inner portion of my wreath and then use my burlap fabric that I do have. I actually got this burlap from Walmart. It was 75% off. So I think this roll literally cost me $1. I'm not gonna lie. So it was 75% off because it was from Christmas time. So all I did was just open that up, and apparently it's used for wreaths like this. So I did the same thing with the half a piece of chenille stem and tied off just the corner or the end of the burlap. And I am going to measure this out at, I think I measured this out at 4 inches and not 6 inches, maybe 5 inches. I think it was, what is it? I think I did 4 inches. Yeah, I did 4 inches. I'm lying. I did 5 inches for each of these pieces and it worked out really well. So pretty much it goes kind of in between each of the white fabric. And I really love the way that it looked. I am going to have to probably do like an entire wreath like this with just using burlap. I think it is so gorgeous. This specific type of burlap, I absolutely loved working with. It was so unforgiving and so easy to work with and so easy to manipulate and like use. I was super happy about it. And to be honest, I blindly cut off where I cut the piece of burlap. Didn't realize that I needed to make sure that I measured it correctly, but it was perfect. Y'all, I was just having beginner's luck on this wreath. I'm not even joking. When I cut down the piece, I was like, Amber, why did you cut down the piece instead of finishing it to make sure that that is how long you needed it to be? But hey, it worked out perfectly. So once I got to the end of it, I just used, like I said, another piece of chenille stem to tie it down into place. I have so much burlap on the back side of it. I probably should just cut it down, but instead I just kind of used a chenille stem. I did use a chenille stem and just pressed it down to make sure that it stayed in place. And then I just went back to fluff everything out to make sure that it looked right. And then tucked in my chenille stem pieces that were sticking out again and just did the same thing as I did with the white fabric and got those out of the way. It worked out really well because when you tuck back the chenille stem pieces, you can tie everything down in the back to make it look better than it is. Once that was complete, I just set that aside, and now I am going to use some mesh. This is my first time working with mesh. I wanted to do mesh and tulle, but I decided to keep it easy for myself and just use what I could find at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use this white and this red mesh. So I'm going to measure out my white mesh at 10 inches and cut that down. And then I did 10 pieces of each. So my white mesh, like I said, is going to be 10 inches. And then I believe my red mesh, I did that at 8 inches, just under 8 inches. I just wanted the more of the white to show through. I wanted this to be more of a neutral kind of wreath. I put the red in for Valentine's Day, but it can just as easily be taken out and another color be used. But that's what I used the red for. So once all of my 10 pieces of each were cut out, next, to get my pieces together, I am using the curl method. I learned this from my friend Lori, as well as my other friend Nadia from DIY with Nadia. So check out both of their channels. I'll have them in my description box. They do awesome wreaths like this. So all I'm going to do is just curl up the pieces kind of tightly together and then attach them using a half a piece of chenille stem. And to get a half a piece of chenille stem, all you do is just cut the full piece in half. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And I'm just going to attach them all until I have a bunch and they look like this. And I think it's really pretty. I can't wait again to try this method again with even double the amount of mesh or even tulle or whatever I can do to create these type of wreaths. I've always tried to stay away from these type because they seem so intricate and like so much, but I had so much fun doing it. So then the next thing, I'm going to take some ribbon, and I just have an assortment of ribbon on hand. I have this really pretty striped like beige and black ribbon from Hobby Lobby and a couple of ribbon assortments from the Dollar Tree. I have this XO heart one from the Dollar Tree, as well as this black and white polka dot one. I measured out my thick ribbon at 8 inches long. I measured out my red and white ribbon at 6 inches long. And then I measured out the black and white polka dot one also at 8 inches long. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the larger ribbon and I'm going to ducktail those ends on each one and just cut them down. Then I am going to start to layer them. So I do the thicker piece of ribbon first, and then the black and white polka dot one next, and then the red and white XO heart one last, and then tie that together with half of a piece of chenille stem. And then I just keep going through until I'm done. I think I did eight. I think it was eight. I'm so sorry, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was 8 pieces or sets of these. Now, once that was all complete, it is time for me to assemble everything onto my wreath form now. So I'm going to take first my mesh pieces, and I'm going to attach those on the outer on the outer piece of my wreath form. I attempted to make sure that my white mesh was on top of my red, but some of the pieces didn't work out that way. But I just kind of fiddled around with it and played around with it until you can see more of the white instead of the red. Like I said, I just wanted a peek through of the red on this wreath because I want you to be able to have this. I want to be able to keep this up year round, but I know that I'm going to have to take off just a little bit of the red, you know, because it's more for Valentine's Day. But hey, if you like red decor, go ahead and keep this up because I love the whole neutral look of it. But anyways, let me get back to this wreath. I had 10 pieces and I just went around and I did two sets for each side of my wreath form. So you have you're gonna have 2 on the top little hump part, 2 on the side, and then 2 catty corner on the bottom. So you pretty much just gonna even it out in this spacing, and it worked out pretty well. And like I said, I just did it on the last wire piece of my wreath and just tied it really tightly with my chenille stem, and then tucked the chenille stems in place, and then just fiddled around with it to make sure that it looked right all the way around. Part of me almost started to get a little bit bummed out because I felt like it was losing the heart shape to it, but you can still see it. I have an insert heart that I'm going to put on the inside of the wreath that hopefully won't keep the heart shape look, but I don't know, maybe because I've been looking at it for too long, I feel like the heart shape isn't there anymore. Anyways, let's move on to my ribbon sets. So I am going to attach those on the inner sides of my wreath. So I just tried to tuck in my chenille stem piece as much as I can to get those attached to the middle portion of the wreath. So wherever you can attach, just attach it. But I decided to put it onto that middle wire portion because there's 3 wires on the wreath. So I wanted to put it on the middle one so that way it's kind of tucked into there, but it's still kind of poking out and kind of like pizzazzy out for you. I don't know if that's the right kind of term definition I want to use, but it's just kind of poking out and it's just like, hey, I'm a ribbon here and I'm pretty too. I am just talking in circles because I have no idea what I am saying. But anyways, just keep doing that, flip it around to tie it off, and yeah, just keep going all the way around. I just put it in the spots where I thought that it needed to have a little filling in to it and make it look pretty, and just kept going until my eyes were happy. After that was done, like I said, I have this insert heart. I got this from Dollar General. It was only $1. It says hello love. I thought it was super adorable, super cute, and went really well with my neutral look. I didn't really love the burlap bow that's on top of the heart. I tried to take it off, but I could not. So anyways, I just kind of tucked that in, but I needed to get it to stay up. So I'm using a piece of wooden dowel rod that I got from a pack from Amazon. It's linked to my Amazon store in my description box. So all I did was just use that rod and then hot glue it onto both sides of my wire wreath. I turned that over to place more hot glue, like a generous amount, and just let it set there so it would dry really nicely. And then I just hot glued the heart right on top of that. And then the little hanger that's on that little heart can act as my hanger for the entire wreath. And it's been up for about a week now and it has not fallen off. So if you want to do that, you can do that too, boo. But that's it for this heart wreath. I really love it. I think it turned out so well. I'm super excited about trying more wreaths like this. And for my first time, you guys, I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know in the comments below if you think I did. Dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And as I said, let me know in the comments down below if this is something you want to see me continue to do, if you enjoyed it. All right, dolls, be blessed, stay safe, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye. Baby's in a good mood today, huh? You say hi to the people? Say, hey, girl, hey. Hey, girl, hey. She's like, give it to me. Changing up a whole lot. Some new changes in 2023. Lots of things happening behind the scenes. I'm so excited to share that with you guys. I don't know if some of you know, I have a second channel. It's more of like lifestyle and like at home with me. But I'm thinking about bringing like weekly vlogs, like a vlog series to this channel. Just so, because you know, some people don't want to have to subscribe to that because they don't want the notifications because they like just DIYing. But I know that you guys like to see my kids, and I thought it'd be fun just to do something like that where, you know, I just kind of share a little bit of just life and behind the scenes stuff. So I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do it. If it gets received well, it gets received well. If it doesn't, I mean, hey, I think it'll still be fun to show you guys how I juggle it all throughout the week and the day and how I get crafting done and videos up. So yeah, I think that'll be fun. So be on the lookout for that. Stay tuned. She's 2 months and she already knows like where the camera is and like the phone. I tell you, these new age babies with all this technology, they're gonna be geniuses. Can I get that? Say hey. Say hi. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.